You guys are awesome. Dude, did you see that? Oh man, we got more issues. Okay, here we are with my Dagless Sanyo 20EZ. Well, partially. And I've got my Ted Pella secret sauce, which I have yet to open. Just want to show you what I tried. I thought I would get creative. You know, I figured, hey, I can fix this. I can take some graphite powder, right? That's conductive, and mix it up with some different stuff and paint it on the monitor. Well, I got it on the monitor and it works, but I mean, I can actually, to show you what this does here. Set my little meter here to ohms and place my two probes on here, and so you actually get a reading of resistance. So it's actually conductive. You can see there between the 2 points. So I've got take my leads and put them on the monitor here. Let me adjust the camera here so you can see what the heck I'm doing. Okay, so basically I can take my leads here, plop them on some of this graphite that's on the monitor, and get a reading, assuming I don't scrape it all off, on my meter here. So you can see that it has a conductive path. Hold in place here. There you go, see? So we got a few kilo ohms there. And so yeah, it's conductive. And I just use some graphite, and that's all this is powdered graphite, and a couple other things to make it a tacky liquid. But the other stuff kind of evaporated, and this just doesn't. It's stuck. I mean, it sticks there pretty good, but it didn't stick really well in all places, so it's coming off there, and I'm not happy with that. And I'm not comfortable with conductive material coming off of my monitor and landing on my components. So I didn't turn it on. I tested that. I didn't like it. So I went and just paid a few bucks to get the real deal, right? So yeah, I gotta clean this off, get the old stuff off. Oh, not the old stuff. Leave the old stuff on. Remove the graphite that I put on there, and we'll test out some of this carbon paint. So hang tight. Let me go ahead and what I'm gonna do is actually remove like the board and stuff. I'm gonna probably just give it a quick wash to make sure there isn't any graphite and residue on the board, because I don't want that you know, bridging components and causing other electrical issues on my system board. So yeah, don't want that to happen. I'll take those off, bring you guys back, and we'll clean up the monitor, put some Electrodag on there, test it out, see what it does. So hang tight. So before I rip everything apart, maybe it should be explained what's going on here. We have this little cable here. You can see this goes, actually, let me just let me fly the camera here. So this little cable here is, I think, called the DAG cable, and it plugs into this part of the neck board here, which is basically part of our grounding circuit. So this DAG cable plugs into the neck board here, and this little post, see that little metal post right there, comes up on the monitor and attaches to this bare wire here. You can see this bare wire actually comes in contact with all of this stuff that they put on the monitor, this Aquadag stuff, so I think that's what they call it. And it goes all the way around the monitor. You can see here, it's tied and hooked into this little spring. Goes on, actually connects to this metal part of the chassis, comes all the way around. You see it here. That's where it's tied in. Comes up over here. Goes all over the monitor, right? And that's part. I mean, it's an important part of the operation of this CRT tube. So a lot of times, also, you can see some wear in here. So you can see that this wire maybe move a little bit and wear some of that out. And so if it's not making good contact, you can get some weird effects on the screen itself during use. So we will need to make sure that we go ahead and get some of this actually replaced. So you can see all along here, if I can get that to focus in a little bit, you can see that where the wire has actually worn away the material there. So that's not anything that I wiped down or removed in particular. So you can see right in here. So yeah, that's definitely going to be an issue for this cable to actually come in contact with the electrically conductive material that they put on the monitor here. So you see here the material here is quite solid. It's still got some dirt and stuff coming off, but I mean, for the most part, I mean, it's solid. It's on there. It's not coming off. So it's a good thick material. What I applied here is it's still conductive, so it'd probably do the job, but it's quite thin. So as you can see here, it comes off pretty easily, and actually comes off in somewhat of chunk. I don't know, not chunks, but it's kind of. It's not conductive paint, that's for sure. So we can try to get the right thing on here, and that'll probably help things quite a bit. So, anyways, I just wanted to show you kind of what, how this all ties together, and what's supposed to be on there, how it's supposed to, and why, how it's supposed to kind of work. Now, I don't know all the particular details to it, but I'm sure some of the other guys in the community could explain those details a lot better. But for the most part, we got to make sure we maintain our ground plane here, and we don't want anything to be where we're not able to push things to the ground plane, like suck up all the extra electrons and get them where they need to go, so we don't have arcing and weird stuff like that and discharges on the monitor, which gives us the flickering effect that we'd see. So, anywho, let's get this fixed. Okay, so just for funsies, I painted a little bit of this Electrodag onto a piece of printer paper. As you can see, the printer paper itself doesn't conduct anything, so it doesn't matter where I put my leads, I'm not going to get anything. But if I take my leads and place both ends on positions of this Electrodag, you can see I get a resistance reading, which basically tells me that this is at some level conductive. If you watch closely, if I move my leads closer together, the resistance actually decreases. That's because I'm getting closer and closer to the other lead. So it's almost like a little pot. See how it's going up in resistance as I move my... And this same exercise can be done with like a pencil, like a graphite pencil. So let me do that real quick. Okay, so here's your run-of-the-mill pencil. It's not much of them, but all you do is just, color in an area here. That's all I'm doing with my pencil. And I'm going to essentially do the same thing as my Electrodag. Now this is not your high-end laboratory scientific product that you use on a day-to-day basis, but hey, the same concept applies. Oop. So there's a meter, it's my two leads, and just the same, much higher resistance, but the concept still applies. You should see it relatively decrease as I move the leads closer together. So we're in here in the kiloohms, 200 kiloohms of resistance going across the graphite from the pencil, and I can move it back the other direction, and you get the same effect. Anyways, not quite as electrically conductive as this. So this is much more conductive than the graphite from the pencil, but so that's good. That's what we want. We want a good, reliable, conductive surface for our DAG cable on the back of the monitor, and I think this is going to give us what we want. That's pretty good. I like that. So you can have a lot of fun with this. You can do things with like your kids. Take, do a little light bulb thing with a 9-volt battery or whatever, and you can use this as a variable pot and basically a dimmer, right? So, just neat stuff like that. So That's fun to do. Anywho, so moving on. Okay, so I've cleaned off most of the monitor. I didn't take the board out. It looked fine, and I just kind of blew it off and everything. I didn't see any graphite that was on the board, so I'll probably just spray it a little bit, and it should be fine. So this stuff is, this stuff is potent. So using a well-ventilated area, that's for dang sure. So it comes with, when you pull out the little deal, it has this little tiny applicator, which it would take forever for me to put on the monitor. Although it's a good way to test it. Let's see how well this actually adheres to the monitor. I'm going to put a little test bit on here. I'm going to just brush it on there nice and light, just like that. And then I say we let that dry, see how long it takes to dry, and then we'll come back and take a look at it. So, looks like it's already drying pretty quick. You can watch it. And I think it dried. I was gonna stop the video and come back. Let's give it a minute here. Wow, that dried really fast. It's not smearing or anything, or really showing up on my glove. See? Okay, I'd say that worked. Success. Okay, so then, right, we take our meter. Hey, look at that. I'd say that's a success. That is a result. Certainly a result. Okay. I'm ready to go. Let's I love this stuff. This is nice. This is some nice stuff. It dries really quick. Just about as quick as I get it on there, it's done. It's good to go. Alright, so I'm going to wipe my little applicator off. I'm going to wipe it off with my brush. Let's go ahead and load my brush up. If I can get this, there's a lot of bristles on this. I may need to, that's not going to work. Let me trim this brush and make it work. So hang on a second. Since this is going to be like a one and done sort of a thing with this brush, I'm just going to trim them up a little bit. There we go. He's smaller. I think I can get it to fit now. Okay, so I need to be really careful with this stuff and not get it all over me, because it's dangerous. So says the instructions. Alright, so I'll dip my brush in here, I think. Nope, I'm not going to dip my brush in here. There we go. Just start painting some of this stuff on there. I don't think you'd need a whole lot. You just need a good little bit. It's a nice, thin, even application is what I'm going to go for. This stuff is nice. It applies really well. This is quality stuff. It dries really fast though. I'm wondering if it's drying inside my little bottle. I think I may need to turn my little fan off a little bit. Turn it down because I don't want it drying too fast. Let me adjust my camera here so you can see what I'm doing. That was way too bright, wasn't it? See, this is the area that I wiped off, basically. Just kind of right close to the anode cap. Moving in just a little bit. That's what I took off, so it's not a whole lot. And just right around in here. Just working my way around. I'm almost at the end here. I don't need to put any more on there. Yeah, it's getting a little crusty on the insides of this bottle. So this stuff dries really quick. So you don't have any working time with it. It's got a good adhesion to the glass, so it's not like spreading or anything. I mean, it goes and stays where you put it. It doesn't swirl around or anything, which I think is good. So that's pretty nice. So what I'll probably also do is take this and go up where the cable is as well. So going right underneath the cable here and making sure we have good contact there. Maybe even get a little bit on the cable, that's okay. Just needs to touch it. Okay. And then on the back side, remember, oh actually, I need to get down lower here as well. So down here I removed a little bit. So I'll go ahead and touch that up as well. So normally this wouldn't be necessary, except cleaner I guess I used on this was almost like a solvent, so paint this back on there. So I don't want to get too close to the anode, just kind of right about there, that way. So you're good, three or so inches away, I'd say. I haven't done a measurement for real, but that would be my guesstimate. I am really impressed with this stuff. I took a real big gamble. I didn't know what I was buying. I said, that looks like the right stuff. So I'm getting kind of low here. I didn't take much of this off. I just want to make sure that I'm overlapping with the existing DAG that's on there to make sure I do get a good conductive connection there. That looks really good. I like the dark charcoaly look it's got. It's pretty slick. Okay, that looks good. What I'll do next is I'm going to flip this around here, get the other side. I would, I would say that probably would be best if you left this thing capped, the bottle. I would not, thinking I may want to just, since I got two of these, I'm gonna pop, oh look at this. Okay, so I'm just going to pop this little guy off, bam, just like that, so that leaves me the cap. set him aside, and when I'm not using the bottle, like when I'm painting, I'm going to leave the cap kind of on there so it's not drying out, because this stuff dries quick. So, and it's kind of expensive relatively for its size, so I don't want to waste it. Let it dry up in the bottle. So I'll take the cap off, load up my brush here, and I would get a smaller brush. You're going to need about a ½ inch brush to do this with the bottle size. So I'm going to move this out of the way just a little bit because it's been basically removing some of the dag that's on there, and I'm just going to touch that up. Okay, right underneath the cable there, up in here as well, and just touch this up. I'm not going for perfection here, I'm just going for, will it conduct some electrons? I don't care how it really looks. Okay, that's much better. I think that's going to help quite a bit, actually. Okay, so I'm going to cap this. And I don't think I need to. I may go ahead and hit this a second time. I'm going to let this dry for a bit, and then I'm going to come back and maybe hit a second coat in some areas, because I can kind of see where I may have not gotten the best coverage. Maybe a better brush would be a good idea instead of a little chip brush. And this is a pretty cheap little brush, but you know, hey, it's getting it on there, so that's what I needed. You know, actually, I've got some acid brushes that may help a little bit. So I'm going to grab my little acid brush here. This is a little shop brush. This is what I use for applying flux, even doing some small cleaning jobs. So that definitely gets in there real easy. So it loads up the brush quite nicely. So let me go ahead and hit some of these other areas again. Kind of over here where I got kind of, I don't know, just doesn't look very smooth. Kind of rough, so let me try to apply that again. Making sure I'm not going to drip this on the board or anything else. That would be bad. Terrible. So don't drip this stuff anywhere, or don't put it anywhere you don't want it. This stuff is serious business. So I'd say lightly load your brush. Make sure you don't overload it. Brush lightly, delicately, because you don't want to fling it. Yeah, that's pretty good coverage there. I like that. That looks good. It looks really good. So this is working alright, I'd say. Not too bad. I'd say you probably want a slightly finer brush, maybe even getting down to like your little art sets. I think I'm going to probably wrap this up because I don't want to waste. That's looking pretty good. So let me look for any other spots that I think I might need to hit, and if I need to bring you back, we'll do that. But I think that's about gonna wrap this one up. So taking a look at this and see if I got anything else to cover. So hang tight. Okay, just a heads up, guys. This stuff, these fumes are killer. So I wouldn't, maybe you wouldn't recommend doing this indoors. I just opened the window, I got all the fans going, and I'm going to step out of this room and call it for a while. So I may actually just leave the door shut in this room and leave the window open, leave the fans on, and try to aerate this stuff out. And I mean, this is a tiny bottle. I did not use it all. I used a small amount, but it's serious business. So take this stuff seriously. This stuff is the real deal. It's highly conductive for what's in there. It's like 5% carbon, 5% graphite, and then some serious business pasty stuff that turns that into paint. So anywho, so I'm gonna bail from the room and let it air out for a while, and then I'll be back to finish things up. Okay, the rooms are out quite a bit. It's not nearly as strong now. I noticed I got a little close here to the anode cup. Probably could, you know, probably take it to about right here. That'd be a good place. I noticed it's the word I'm looking for here is it adheres really well to the glass. So it's on there really good. So it's not coming off. I mean, it's dried on there, and that's it. So done deal. So I would say this stuff works extraordinarily well as far as application is concerned. Goes on quite easily, dries really quick. Downside is this stuff is potent, so make sure you use in a well ventilated area. Follow all the safety precautions that they give you in the printout sheet that they send with the product. So yeah, pay attention, read that stuff, take it seriously, and be careful when applying it to your monitor. You know, I probably would recommend removing the boards and stuff, and maybe even covering even portions of the neck board. Just put like a paper towel over them or something, so that you don't accidentally drip conductive paint anywhere. Because I mean, it drips, it dries, it'll go in every nook and cranny, and you're done. At that point, good luck getting it out of whatever it's gotten into. So, you know, you may be able to get it off, but it could cause problems, you know. So, anyways, I think at this point, probably clean it all up, and then we'll look at hooking everything back together and make sure that it doesn't flicker like it was flickering before, and hopefully it fixes our problems. So, anyway, that's the end of this section, anyways. And the next part, I'll get it hooked together, and I'll get everything back the way it needs to be in my Donkey Kong Jr. cabinet, turn it on, and see how things run. So hang tight, and we'll check the preview of the game here in just a moment. Okay, it's the next day. Everything is nice and dry on the monitor. It's not leaving any sort of residue. It's all nice and adhered to the monitor's glass surface. Well, it's not the monitor, it's a CRT tube. So anyways, it looks really good, and what we'll do next is go ahead and get everything put back together and put the put the tube back into the arcade cabinet, and then we'll get it all buttoned up. Okay, so here we go. Everything's plugged up and powered up, and here's the game. So for the most part, it looks to be working. So I'm letting it warm up here a little bit. Seems like I'm still getting just a little bit of jitter. Yeah, I can still see it jittering just a little bit. But I think that's something else. I'm not getting the large flickers with the whole screen, like will slide or flicker. So that's been resolved. I haven't gotten that at all, so that's good. So I think the the Electrodag that I put on this monitor has certainly helped quite a bit. Now I've just got one small issue left, and that's just this really slight jittering that's going on. So I'll have to figure out what that is. As you can see, the game works great. Sounds are all working. So the power supply rebuild went just fine. No problems there. So I think this will work. I'm going to try to figure out what this jittering thing is, and if I can figure that out, then I'll maybe bring you guys back and we'll try to address that if we can. But for right now, so far everything I've done has been successful. The power supply is redone, it's recapped, it's working, and the voltages were actually the voltages were good. 5.2, getting 5.2 out of the plus 5 volts isn't bad at all. I checked a non-rebuilt PP7B Nintendo power supply and got pretty close to the same reading, 5.2 volts. So I thought that was pretty good. So I went ahead and cabled everything up, turned it on, and it just came right to life. So no problems there at all. Yeah, so I'll keep working on this a little bit. Maybe I'll double check the V Plus to see if there's anything wrong with that. But I'm pretty sure I had that within proper adjustment. But maybe, I don't know. I know there's supposed to be some adjustments you do, I guess, with like the contrast, like turning the contrast to a certain level and then adjusting the V Plus. And I don't think I did that, so maybe that could have something to do with it. I'm not really sure, so I don't know. I'll probably need to do some research, guys. I just kind of at a loss, so I'll do some research and see if I can figure out what might be causing some of this slight just jittering slash, I don't know. Kind of see a little bit of waviness going across there. I'll see if you can zoom in here a little, maybe see that. It's be really hard to see on camera. Yeah, with the I think with this image stabilization, the camera is just no way to pick it up. So, anyways, it's just something I can see. So I'll see if I can get this figured out and addressed, and if I can figure out what the problem is, I'll bring you guys back and we'll fix it together. So thanks for watching.